and the original inhabitants, the Gbagi, the Gwandara, the Bassa, and then more of Nigeria came in. Every tribe, every creed. It starts with the vision, the finished thing, seen before it exists, the pot in the clay, the dress in the cloth, the city in the vast field. Then the focus to begin, and the patience to keep going. That is how a dream becomes reality. It's not all smooth sailing. It may be difficult. You fail, you fix it, you begin again. That is the price of making something real. It is also the reward of completing something visionary. And then it's finished. The jug from the clay. The dress from a sketch. The building that was bare ground. Each one, a dream someone refused to give up on. And the city around them, built in the very same way. Something new is taking shape in Abuja. The Abuja Film Village, an initiative of the Abuja Investment Company Limited, is positioning the city as a center for film and entertainment excellence. With a feature film already in development, alongside production facilities and industry training, the Film Village will support filmmakers and creators to bring bold stories to life and contribute to Nigeria's creative economy.
Action! 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 And action!
The Abuja Film Village, the future of film.
Thank you. Just before I conclude, permit me to express my sincere appreciation to the Honorable Minister for his guidance and his support of the Federal Capital Territory, His Excellency Barrister Ezeon Nyesowike, CON, and also our dear mother, the Honorable Minister of State, for their leadership, Her Excellency Dr. Maria Mahmood, for her dedication and commitment to the development of the Federal Capital Territory. My sincere appreciation also goes to Dr. Emomotimi Agama, Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, who will be delivering the keynote address. As we commence this year's Expo, I'd like to acknowledge the invaluable contributions of our development partners, sponsors, exhibitors, panelists, members of the diplomatic community, traditional rulers, the media, the organizing committee, and the dedicated AICL team. Your commitment and collaboration have made it possible to bring together this important platform for dialogue, partnership, and investment. To all our guests visiting Abuja, I encourage you to take time to experience our city, engage with its people, and explore the many opportunities it offers. I am confident that what you see here will strengthen your desire to invest in Abuja and also to partner with AICL. Thank you for being part of ABI's 3.0. I wish you a fruitful deliberation, successful engagement, and a rewarding partnership. God bless the Federal Capital Territory. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
An awesome delivery there. As she makes her way back to her seat, remember how wonderful, intentional, focused the GMD of AICL, the dogged Dr. Maureen Tamuno, working hard to get investors into the city. Please let's give her another round of applause. She showed us the Abuja Film Village, and I looked closely at Ajake Silva and Agatha Amata. Their eyes were glued to the screen. Like the Abuja Film Village is the future of film. If you hear that one of them has relocated to Abuja, you will know why. Because we have the flora and fauna Abuja is so beautiful for filmmaking that all the ideas are running riot where they are seated, and I can see it without a doubt. What a wonderful moment it is for us to be here together. Let me remind you that my name is Eugenia Abu, but I'm not working alone today. I'm working with a man I like to call the voice, the distinguished voice of radio, TV, and anchoring, Mr. Andy Gabriel. So it has always been a thing of pride to watch Nigeria and Nigerians gift the world films. Nollywood stands tall. Food, music, our culture, our fashion, our clothes, our drumming. And in the event you forgot, there is cultural entrepreneurship, the business of culture and the business of music that has taken Davido, Tiwa Savage, Burna Boy across the world, performing at stages in London and in the US and shutting down venues. Those are our children in the cultural space, in the music space. And we also know that food is business. And I've always said, although I'm writing a book on food, on menus, perhaps one day I might run a restaurant because, I like to feed people. So there's business in culture, in music, and food. And then there's business in talk. Please help me welcome Andy Gabriel with the next item on the agenda. Andy, over to you.
Thank you very much. Please, if you don't mind, that applause is not even meant for me. It's for yourselves because you make the difference. Can we have that round of applause as loud as can be for yourselves one more time? Because without you, there won't be Abuja Business and Investment Expo 3.0. I thank you very much. Just before the next item on our agenda, I'd like to recognize the presence of Mr. Michael Ango, the Acting Executive Chairman, FCT Internal Revenue Service. Please let's welcome him with a round of applause. Dr. Bonaventure Ohaimo is the Managing Director and CEO of the National Credit Guarantee Company. He's here with us. Please can we welcome him with a round of applause as well. Also present with us, the Executive Chairman, FCT. Okay, he's the one I just recognized. Dr. Ike Chilke is the Group Managing Director, Afri Invest West Africa. Please a warm round of applause for him as well. And any other guest that we haven't recognized that has just joined us, perhaps in the course of the welcome address of the Group Managing Director, the lady behind these expo. Please, I want to welcome all of you. Please give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you very much. Now, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, every economy has its numbers, but every nation has its soul. Eugenia had spoken about food, culture, and so much more. But before we proceed any further, let me invite us to experience the color, the rhythm, and rich cultural heritage that continues to define Nigeria's identity, especially the Federal Capital Territory. Please welcome with me our cultural troupe, FCT Cultural Troupe. Let's give them a round of applause that is deserving.
Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, nothing gives me greater joy than the performance of the Nigerian cultural troupe anywhere you go in Nigeria. The dance is fluid. The movements are strategic. The music is giving. And no matter where you are in your soul, no matter where you are in your body, the dance makes you think about movement, makes you think about happiness and joy. Everywhere we go, Nigerians are the ones who walk across airports like they own it, because we as a people, we define the meaning of grace, the meaning of unity, the meaning of elegance. And our parents were doing asusu long before we were born. They understood investment. Isn't it beautiful just to watch that dance from the Abuja Cultural Troupe do their thing as always? And while that dance was going on, I said to myself, my very good friend, the Philippine ambassador to Nigeria, can he cut one of those dances? Or the Swedish ambassador to Nigeria, perhaps, if we give them a chance, because Nigeria is very infectious. The Honorable Minister of the FCT, we are so pleased with your presence at this Abuja Business and Investment Expo 2026. This is your expo, the Honorable Minister of the FCT's expo. And like I mentioned earlier, he sent to us one of the leading lights of Nigeria, the Honorable Minister of the FCT, family doctor, community engager, a woman who understands politics, and a woman who understands being a family doctor and caring. We truly appreciate your presence, Honorable Minister, and we thank you for your presence and for showing women that it is possible to be. Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have in our midst, of course, the Honorable Minister of State for Budget, Dr. Anita, a fine woman, a distinguished woman, an economist by all particular. We thank you for being here with us. We appreciate you. And of course, the Special Advisor to Mr. President on Economic Affairs in the Office of the Vice President, Dr. Tope Fasua, has also joined us. Our keynote speaker is raring to go, but before we get to him, Andy has a couple of messages. Andy, please step forward with the messages you have, which would be goodwill messages, because all of us, our heart is full of joy. We salute our partners, we salute our sponsors, and we salute all those who mean us well, who have left what they are doing to be here with us today. We appreciate you, Andy.
Again, I'd like to appreciate you just as we make progress. Permit me to recognize the presence of the Kogi State Governor, who is unavoidably absent, but is represented at this event capably by Chief Edime, GA PhD Koren, is representing the Governor of Kogi State at this juncture. I also want to recognize J.N. Green Amakwe, Special Advisor on Investment Promotion to the Governor of Abia State. He's been here with us all morning. I'd like that we please welcome him and to appreciate the Governor of Abia State for what he's doing. Thank you very much. We move on very quickly to the goodwill messages. No meaningful development, as we know, is achieved in isolation. It's sustained through collaboration, shared vision, and enduring partnerships, which is what Abuja Business and Investment Expo presents today. It is now my honor and pleasure to invite our esteemed guests that have been shortlisted for their goodwill remarks. Let me start by inviting the former Group Managing Director of the Abuja Investment Company Limited. I'd like to welcome him as a traditional ruler today, His Royal Highness Alhaji Abubakar Sani Pai Sarikin Pai. Can we please welcome him to the podium for his goodwill message? As he comes up, I'd like to plead with all and sundry, and especially those that will be invited to this side of the divide for their goodwills, to please restrict themselves to just 3 minutes. You may skip protocol as much as you want to, but please, let's please make welcome His Royal Highness one more time with a round of applause.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay. The Honorable Minister of the FCT, will be represented by the Honorable Minister of State, Other distinguished Nigerians here, permit me to stand on the protocols already established by the director of the program. Well, I think I want to say that as part of the family member of Abuja Investment, I wouldn't have said anything, but because of my role as the emir, I want to thank the workaholic ambassador for bringing up Abuja Investment to this level. I think, like I said last year, you are very, very lucky. You have Minister of the FCT and the Minister of State at your back. And I think that is why you have been able to move and establish yourself and bringing Abuja Investment to this level. For those of us who were there before, we had known how challenging it was for us. But you have come following behind some of the successes you have been able to record. And I think you have brought Abuja Investment to where it is. And we want to say congratulations. A lot of people think government cannot manage businesses because of some of the bureaucracies that happens. But I think you have broken that jinx. That is possible. Because if you see the quality of staff Abuja Investment has, basically they are just like any other private investment. So it's possible for a government establishment to succeed, given the right opportunity, given the right parameters that is given to private companies. So I want to congratulate you for these achievements, and I think we look forward to further engagements by will-be investors in the FCT. Traditional institutions are always behind you. We'll give you all the necessary support. If there are issues with our communities, we'll be able to support you. Particularly, I'm delighted that the Abuja Film Village is one of the key areas that you are focusing on, because that has been a project that has surpassed all manners of discussions. But I think you are moving there, and I think it's important because there's a huge potential in the Abuja Film Village project. So I want to congratulate you and wish all participants here a wonderful deliberations, and believe that at the end of the day, some of the things we are trying to achieve, Abuja will be better for all of us. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much, Your Royal Highness, for your royal blessings at this occasion. As we make progress, because of time, I'd like to just very quickly go straight to inviting the Executive Chairman of the PCING EV. Please welcome with me Barrister Ismail Ahmed. Please let's welcome him with a round of applause for his goodwill. You also allocated 3 minutes, and please do well to stay off protocol for want of time. Thank you very much. Barrister Ismail Ahmed.
Your Excellency, the Honorable Minister of FCT, ably represented by my sister, Dr. Maria Bunkure, the Honorable Minister of State Budget, my sister, Dr. Doris, all protocols duly observed, Your Royal Highness. Thank you very much. Abuja is, I've seen it in the documentary, was a dream by a 36-year-old general in 1976. Murtala Muhammad, 36-year-old, led that city, thought of Abuja. 3 years later, a 54-year-old man, Shehu Shagari, started building Abuja. By 1987, a 46-year-old general brought his friend in a chopper, Air Vice Marshal Hamza Abdullahi, and he told him, I want you to take Abuja to a point of no return. And here we are in 2026, the biggest and the largest and the most developed city in the whole of Nigeria. That shows you the enduring legacy of a dream that can start from the mind, and if it is implemented together by people who put their hearts and mind in one place, what it can be. In the last 3 years, the Honorable Minister, you have done incredibly well, and we are very proud of what we have seen in Abuja. But development and investment is not about buildings and roads alone, although that is a very good precursor. What it must happen is that people must move them, and people must have the confidence to bring their monies in. At PICNG and EV, we believe there's 1.3 million people that move in and out of Abuja on a daily basis. We can do a great deal by switching to CNG and electric vehicles. Of the 10 vehicles that come into Nigeria every day, 4 are electric vehicles. 2 of those electric vehicles always ends up in Abuja because you have the good roads, because of the roads you're doing. We're here to partner with you to make it a great deal. Thank you very much.
The Executive Chairman, PICNG. And thank you for what you're doing too. And we're grateful. We hope that Abuja will be better for it with all the collaboration and partnerships that is in the offing. The next goodwill message, Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, will be coming from Her Excellency Anna Westerholm. She is the Swedish ambassador to Nigeria. I'd like that we make welcome with a round of applause the Swedish ambassador to Nigeria as she comes to the podium for her remarks of goodwill. You're entitled to 3 minutes as well. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Honorable Minister of State, Dr. Maria Mahmoud, Ambassador Maureen Tamuno of Abuja Investment Company Limited, distinguished government officials, members of the diplomatic corps, business leaders, investor entrepreneurs, and development partners. Ladies and gentlemen, as instructed, permit me to respectfully stand on existing protocol. It is a privilege, thank you. It is a privilege to join you for the 2026 Abuja Business and Investment Expo. The theme, Building Nigeria's Investment Ecosystem as a Catalyst for Economic Growth, speaks directly to priorities that Sweden strongly shares and we strongly support. It reflects a shared understanding that sustainable prosperity is built when governments, businesses, innovators, and development partners work together to unlock opportunity. Allow me to commend Abuja Investment Company and its partners for convening this important platform. Your leadership demonstrates a clear understanding of what drives modern economies: collaboration, innovation, and the courage to imagine a different future. So today's gathering sends a very powerful message. Economic transformation is achieved when governments, business, and development partners work together. Sweden is proud to be a partner in unlocking the many opportunities that Abuja offers, and by extension, to contribute to Nigeria's continued economic growth and regional influence. Economic transformation is never accidental. It is intentional. It happens when ideas meet investment, and investment meets impact. Nigeria and Sweden share more than 65 years of partnership built on trust, innovation, and a long-term commitment. Swedish companies have contributed to Nigeria's growth for decades, creating jobs, transferring technology, and strengthening local capacity. Nigerians encounter Swedish innovation every day through Ericsson-powered telecommunication networks, through the technology behind Bluetooth that enables seamless connectivity, and through platforms such as Spotify, which has helped bring Nigerian music and Afrobeats to audience across the globe. Today, more than 40 Swedish companies operate in Nigeria across telecommunication, digital technologies, energy, manufacturing, medtech, edtech, and transportation. They are not simply exporting products. They are building partnerships, nurturing talent, and contributing to Nigeria's development ambitions. For generations, Sweden has demonstrated how innovation can drive economic transformation. The world knows Sweden as a home of invention, such as the ball bearing which helped power industrialization globally, the 3-point safety belt which has saved millions of lives, Tetra Pak, which revolutionized food preservation and distribution, and the pacemaker, which transformed cardiac healthcare. These innovations share a common foundation. Investment in knowledge, support for entrepreneurship, and commitment to solving real-world challenges. Last spring, we were honored to welcome Her Royal Highness Crown Princess Victoria of Sweden to Abuja for the launch of Business Sweden's Trade and Investment Office. This milestone reflects Sweden's confidence in Nigeria's economic potential and our commitment to expanding our commercial ties. We are seeing growing interest from Swedish companies exploring opportunities in Nigeria. At the same time, Nigerian entrepreneurs and innovators are engaging more actively with Swedish institutions, universities, and innovation ecosystems. This is the future we want to build. A future where ideas, talent, technology, and investment flow in both directions. As Nigeria continues its effort to diversify its economy, strengthen the private sector, and accelerate digital and industrial transformation, Sweden stands ready to contribute experience and expertise in areas that are essential for future competitiveness. Digital innovation and connectivity, green and renewable energy solutions, sustainable urban development and transportation, healthcare innovation, entrepreneurship, education, and startup ecosystems. Ladies and gentlemen, let me echo a point I made earlier. This expo is not just a gathering, it is an opportunity, a chance to deepen connections, strengthen partnerships, and transform ideas into investments and investments into lasting impact. Especially now, in a world where global economies face uncertainty, partnerships matter more than ever. We know that sustainable prosperity is built through long-term relationships grounded in trust, values, and mutual benefit. So, as I conclude, let me once again congratulate Abuja Investment Company Limited for its vision and leadership in convening this important platform. I wish all participants productive discussions, successful networking, and partnerships. Sweden looks forward to continuing this journey together with Nigeria, building partnerships that create opportunity, that drive innovation, and deliver sustainable prosperity for both our peoples. So thank you. Tack så mycket.
Please, can we applaud her one more time? Thank you, and thank you very much indeed for lending your voice to even promising to support the Abuja Investment Company and partnering with them. Please, for that promise, can we give her another resounding applause? Thank you very much. At this point in time, I'd like to bring the next goodwill speaker, and I'd like to just invite very humbly and respectfully a woman of very many parts, from being a chief executive of a bank to becoming a minister, industry, trade and investment, moved on from there to becoming Minister of State Finance, who was also in charge of supervising the allocations to states and local governments. And of course, today sits us the Honorable Minister of State, Budget and National Planning. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Doris Nkiruka Uzoka Anite. Can we please give her a deserving round of applause as she makes her way to the podium? The Honorable Minister, Ma.
Thank you so much, Mr. Andy. The Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, His Excellency Nyesom Wike, CON, ably represented. The Honorable Minister of State, Dr. Maria Mahmood, my darling sister. It's a pleasure to join you here to support you in the great work that you're doing. The Special Advisor to the President on Economic Affairs, Mr. Tope Fashua, the Director General, Abuja Investment Company Limited, Dr. Maureen Tamuno, heads of agencies and parastatals here present, distinguished members of the Diplomatic Corps, our royal fathers. It's a pleasure to also see my sister, the former Minister of Women Affairs, Dr. Pauline Tallinn. It's a pleasure to see you and to welcome you. All distinguished members and stakeholders present, captains of industry, development partners, investors and entrepreneurs, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, of course, gentlemen of the press. Good morning to all of you. It is a great pleasure for me to join you here today at Abuja Business and Investment Expo 3.0, a platform that continues to promote investment, innovation, and strategic partnerships for sustainable economic growth. This expo is much more than an exhibition of products and services. It is a marketplace of ideas, enterprise, and opportunities, bringing together government, investors, businesses, entrepreneurs, and development partners to forge partnerships that will shape the future of the Federal Capital Territory and, of course, our dear nation. I want to begin by commending the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, His Excellency Ezenwo Nyesom Wike, and for his visionary leadership and unwavering commitment to transforming Abuja. Under his stewardship, the FCT has witnessed remarkable progress in infrastructure, healthcare, education, security, urban renewal, environmental management, and public service delivery. These achievements have greatly, significantly enhanced Abuja's attractiveness as a destination for investment and business. I also recognize the invaluable contribution of my darling sister, the Honorable Minister of State, Dr. Maria Mahmood, whose dedication and collaborative leadership has complemented these efforts. Together, they have demonstrated that effective governance is built on teamwork, shared purpose, and unwavering commitment to improving the lives of the people. I equally commend the Director General of Abuja Investment Company Limited, Dr. Maureen Tamuno, whose leadership has continued to strengthen Abuja investment promotion efforts and provides an important platform for connecting investors with opportunities in the FCT. The Abuja Business and Investment Expo has become a valuable vehicle for showcasing the immense economic potential of our capital city and attracting strategic partnerships that will drive economic growth and development.
As someone with responsibilities that include budget and economic planning, I understand and appreciate that sustainable economic growth is built on sound policies, strategic planning, prudent resource allocation, and disciplined implementation. Equally important is creating an enabling environment that inspires investor confidence. Investment follows confidence. Confidence is built when governments invest in quality infrastructure, strengthens institutions, improves service delivery, and provides a stable and predictable environment for businesses to thrive. The transformation that we are witnessing in the FCT demonstrates that strategic public investment can definitely unlock private capital, stimulate enterprise, create jobs, and expand economic opportunities. Under the visionary leadership of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, the Renewed Hope Agenda is advancing bold economic reforms to strengthen macroeconomic stability, improve the investment climate, and unlock sustainable private sector-led growth. Platforms such as this EXPO play a vital role in translating those reforms into investment, innovation, and shared prosperity. As we look ahead, our task is not simply to attract investment, but to attract the right investment. An investment that will promote industrialization, delivers and develops local value chains, creates quality jobs, supports innovation, and improves the lives of our people. That is how we build a resilient, diversified, and globally competitive Nigerian economy. I encourage investors, entrepreneurs, and development partners to seize the enormous opportunity here in Abuja, and together we can build a capital city that is not only the seat of government, but also a leading hub for commerce, finance, technology, tourism, manufacturing, innovation, and enterprise in Africa. I want to congratulate the Honorable Minister, the Honorable Minister of State, the DG of Abuja Investment Company, the organizers of the Abuja Business and Investment Expo 3.0, and all stakeholders whose dedication and vision have made this event possible. May today's engagement foster enduring partnerships, attract greater domestic and foreign investment, create quality jobs, stimulate innovation, and contribute meaningfully to the sustainable growth and prosperity of the FCT and our own nation. Thank you very much. May God bless the Federal Capital Territory and the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
And may God bless you too. We can make better that round of applause for the Honorable Minister of State, Budget and National Planning. Thank you very, very much indeed. Your Excellency, the chief host of this event, a special guest of honor, the Honorable Minister, Federal Capital Territory, Chief Barrister Ezewonyesam Wike, GSSRS CON, Life Venture, ably represented here this morning by Dr. Maria Mahmoud Bankure, the Honorable Minister of State, FCT, the Chief Convener, Group Managing Director of the Abuja Investment Company Limited, Your Excellency, Ambassador Maureen Tamuno, PhD, and our distinguished guests that are seated. Permit me to rest on the well-established protocol to then make bold to invite the man who has been carefully selected as our guest, keynote speaker of this segment of the Abuja Expo 3.0. Our keynote speaker is the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Nigeria's apex regulatory institution for the capital market. He is a distinguished economist, financial analyst, and management accountant. He brings over 3 decades of professional experience, including extensive expertise in capital market development, financial regulation, economic strategy, and institutional leadership. Prior to his appointment as Director General in April of 2024, our keynote speaker was the Managing Director of the Nigerian Capital Market Institute, NCMI, where he led transformative educational programs that shaped regulatory capacity in Nigeria and across Africa. He has held several pivotal roles within the Security and Exchange Commission, including head of market infrastructure and innovation, and has contributed significantly to capital market reforms, policy innovation, and deepening of financial markets. Our keynote speaker holds a PhD in economics from Nile University of Nigeria, a graduate certificate in capital markets from George Washington University, United States of America, and dual Masters of Science degrees in economics and banking and finance from the University of Benin. He's also a chartered global management accountant, a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMA UK, and a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers, CIS. He is a chair of several high-level committees, including the Security and Exchange Commission Disciplinary Committee, the Market Outlook Committee, and the Securities Settlement Working Group with the Central Bank of Nigeria. He has also served as a member of a global green finance leadership program and has presented the leading international platforms on green finance, capital markets, and inclusive regulation. Under his leadership, ladies and gentlemen, the Securities and Exchange Commission is driving a bold agenda focused on digital transformation, youth inclusion, investor protection, and innovation-driven market expansion. Ladies and gentlemen, he is rooted in the belief that a well-regulated, inclusive, and transparent capital market is key to Nigeria's sustainable development and long-term economic security. He is passionate about empowering youth through financial literacy, ethical leadership, and access to investment opportunities, and continues to champion financial integrity, institutional excellence, and global collaboration in regulation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor and privilege to present to you our keynote speaker, Dr. Emomotimi Agama, the Director General, Securities and Exchange Commission. I'd like that we make his applause a bit louder than that. Can we do just that for Dr. Emomotimi Agama, DG Sec? You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so very much. The Honorable Minister for the Federal Capital Territory, the Honorable Minister for State for the Federal Capital Territory, the Honorable Minister for Budget and Planning, my dear sister, Dr. Doris Anita, the Special Advisor to the President and Chief Economist, Dr. Tepe Fasua, other distinguished leaders in this country here present, His Eminence, the Emir of Pai, and indeed, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and not forgetting the members of the press. I am indeed very, very excited to be here this morning to speak on something that I'm passionate about. It's usually more exciting when you are within your turf, and more so when it is a necessity for development. Today, let me begin not with a statistics, but with a memory. And that memory had actually been started by Barrister Ismail. 50 years ago, the ground on which this magnificent hall stands was not a city. It was open savanna, rock, grass, and silence, ringed by hills that had washed over this plateau for 10,000 years without ever being asked to carry the weight of a nation. There was no three-arm zone. There was no central business district. There was no Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Conference Center. Indeed, there was no Abuja. There was only an idea. An idea, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is the cheapest thing in the world until somebody decides to finance it. The moment capital is committed to an idea, that idea acquires bones. It acquires roads, it acquires water, mains and fiber optic cable, and street lights in schools. It acquires a skyline. 50 years later, it acquires 4 million residents, a gross domestic product larger than that of several sovereign nations, and the confidence to convene a summit of this caliber and invite the world to come and look. For that, I say thank you, Ambassador Tamono, for doing that. So permit me to say, with all the respect and affection I hold for this territory, Abuja is the most eloquent argument I know for the proposition contained in the theme of this EXPO. Abuja is proof that investment is a catalyst for economic growth. Abuja is what happens when a country stops describing its future and starts funding it. And permit me to make the point sharper still, because the evidence is standing all around us. Not many years ago, this very hall had fallen far into disrepair that it embarrassed the nation which built it. Mr. President himself has recounted his dismay at its condition. Today, it has been rehabilitated to international standard and was reopened in June 2025, renamed in the honor of our dear President. And the detail I find most instructive, as a regulator booked out years in advance by paying users. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not merely discussing the thesis of this EXPO this morning, we are sitting inside it. That is why I accepted Our Excellency's kind invitation without hesitation to lend my voice to the progress of Abuja City. There are two meanings to our theme. Our theme is a quiet piece of genius because the word capital is doing two jobs at once. In the first reading, Nigeria's capital is this city, Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, the seat of our sovereignty and the top shop window through which the world forms its first impression of us. To build Nigeria's capital, in that sense, is to build roads and rail, housing and hospitals, power and water, industrial parks, and digital corridors. In the second reading, Nigeria's capital is something less visible and more consequential. It is the pool of savings, patient money, risk appetite, and institutional trusts that a nation assembles, then deploys into productive assets. It is pension contributions from a teacher in Kobwa, and indeed another teacher in Pai. It is the premium income of an insurance company. It is the dollar a nurse in Manchester sends from home every month. It is the retained earnings of a manufacturer in Idu industrial area. It is the sovereign wealth of a mutual fund and the daring of a venture capital fund. And here is the thesis of everything I will say this morning. You cannot build the first you cannot build the first kind of capital without first mobilizing the second. Cities are not built by budgets alone. Cities are built by capital markets. Every great city in the world, London, New York, Tokyo, Johannesburg, Singapore, and indeed ours, the Abuja we speak about, was financed at some decisive moment in its history. Not principally by taxation, but by the organized savings of its people, channeled through instruments of trust, bonds, equities, infrastructure funds, real estate trusts. This is the road we must now travel, deliberately and at speed. So let me take the next few minutes to do four things. First, to show you where the Nigerian capital market stands today. Second, to describe the new legal and technological architecture we have built to carry the weight of national ambition. Third, this is why my gift to my host is to place before the Federal Capital Territory Administration and Abuja Investment Company Limited a concrete blueprint for financing the city through the capital market. And fourth, to make an appeal to conscience, because markets are, in the end, moral institutions. Where do we stand? The scoreboard. Distinguished guests, I am a regulator, and regulators are trained to be sober. So let me give you the numbers, and let the numbers speak. As at yesterday, the snapshot of the Nigerian Exchange All Share Index stood at over 158 trillion naira. At the time, it was over 161 trillion naira. Indeed, over 250,000 points. Equity market capitalization and the bond market well above what anybody could conceive in the last 2 years of the administration of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Let me also say, and with glad heart, to say very recently, Nigeria's market was adjudged to be the best performing market in the world, not in any other place but the world. And this is testament to the President's work. Let me put the figure in perspective, therefore, for those who do not spend their lives, as I do, reading other books. Within a period of roughly 3 years, the Nigerian capital market has moved from a market measured in tens of trillions to a market measured in hundreds of trillions of naira. Indeed, on a single representative day, a transaction moves as much as 93,000 deals, and indeed has made so much money that we have made the most number of millionaires in any administration of this nation. So, all credit goes to the President for all that he has done to encourage the market to grow. That is not a sleepy market. This is a market that has woken up. And behind that headline sits a structural story that matters even more. The banking sector recapitalization directed by the Central Bank of Nigeria raised over 4.6 trillion naira domestically and not anywhere else. Just recently, we just concluded the insurance industry capitalization, and that has been so successful that indeed what it has done is moving the market further than we could ever expect. The overwhelming majority of it was absorbed domestically. Nigerian pension funds, Nigerian institutions, Nigerian retail investors, and Nigerians in the diaspora subscribed. And in each case, after case, they oversubscribed. Our banks did not have to go abroad with a begging bowl. They went to their own people, and those people are the people sitting here today. And their own people answered their call. The single fact, that single fact demolishes a lie that has always been told about us for 2 generations. The lie that Nigeria has no capital of its own, that we are a nation that can only consume, never fund. It is not true. It was never true. What we lacked was not money. What we lacked was the architecture of trust that persuades money to leave the safety of idleness and take the risk of usefulness. That trust has been brought back by Mr. President. That architecture is what we have today, and that is what we spent in the last 3 years building. What is the new architecture? The Investment and Securities Act 2025, a new constitution for the market, with special appreciation to everyone that was involved in making sure that that act came to be. And especially this morning, I will mention Dr. Deros Anite, who was, at the time, the Minister for State for Finance, and indeed my supervisor. Thank you very much, madam. But indeed, much more is my president, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who, within a week, assented to that bill. That bill became an act in March 2025. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu signed that bill into law, the Investment and Securities Act 2025, repealing and replacing the Act of 2007. This was not a cosmetic amendment. It was a refounding. The Act gives the Commission powers of a modern regulator in a digital age. It brings digital assets, virtual asset service providers, digital exchanges securely within the perimeter of regulation, recognizing them as securities and their intermediaries as regulated entities, placing Nigeria among the first jurisdictions in this continent to legislate clearly rather than to legislate by press release. It criminalizes Ponzi schemes and pyramid arrangements with penalties that are at long last proportionate to the misery that they cause. For every widow who lost their savings to a scheme with a shining office and a shameless promise, and this act says never again, and not on our watch will that happen. It strengthens the Investor Protection Fund. It modernizes framework for collective investment schemes. It expands and clarifies the powers of the Commission over unregistered entities and activities. And critically for this audience, it provides a clearer statutory pathway for subnationals and sub-sovereign entities to access the Nigerian capital market. The last provision is not a technicality. It is an invitation addressed personally to the Federal Capital Territory Administration, and I will return to it. In June 2026, the Nigerian capital market went live on a T+1 cycle. What does that mean to the simple Nigerian investor? It means getting cash into your hand as quickly as possible so that you can make use of them when you need that. And that is simply one of the very important milestones of the Nigerian capital market, because we followed other countries that have done it before, not any country in Africa, but countries all over the world. The USA, Canada, India, and China. We did not do this because it was fashionable. We did it because a market that asks the world for confidence must first demonstrate competence. And we did it, and I'm proud to say, without a single systemic disruption, an achievement that belongs to our exchanges, our central securities depository, our custodians, our registrars, and our operators. Several of them are here in this room. Digital assets and tokenization, regulating the future before it arrives. Nigeria is by far the most global major among the most enthusiastic adopters of digital assets on earth. Our young people did not wait for permission. They found the technology and they used it. A regulator has three possible responses to that reality. He can pretend it is not happening. He can ban it and drive it on the ground, where no investor is protected and no revenue is collected. Or he can do the difficult, unglamorous work of building a regulated perimeter. Licensing, disclosure, custody standards, anti-money laundering controls, and clear rules on who may hold public money. We choose the third. Through the Accelerated Regulatory Incubation Program, through our rules on digital assets, issuance and service providers, and now under the express authority of the Investment and Securities Act 2025 and the Presidential Executive Order, we have licensed digital asset exchanges, established a coordination...
You've been watching our live coverage of the Abuja Business and Investment Expo 3.0. This brings us to the end of the broadcast. Please stay tuned as we now return to the rest of our programming for the day.
You've been watching a live Channels television event.
And welcome to another edition of Kaleidoscope right here on Channels Television. I'm Anne Nwawado. Thanks a lot for joining us on the program. On Kaleidoscope today, we sit with the CEO of the Tony Elumelu Foundation, Somachi Chris Asoluka, to discuss the activities of the organization, its challenges, and its plans for the future. Once again, welcome to Kaleidoscope.